You're watching Let's Chat.
Some new and kind of interesting information out that we first brought you here on News 12 this morning, and we're doing this in conjunction with our friends at Warren and Griffin. Right over here we have Hank Warren. Hank, good to
morning,
see
Chip.
you. And then we have Thatcher Smith. Gentlemen,
Very good to
good
see you,
morning
sir.
to you
Good morning,
both.
sir.
Hank Warren, any relation to the guy on the board back here?
Sadly, yes.
You got the calm and the low key and the laid back from.
That's what I've been told.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Interesting story that came out earlier this morning, guys. Tennessee is among the worst states. We're, depending on who you listen to, we're either number 7 or number 8 in the worst driver category out of all 50 states. 1,321 deaths per 100,000 people just last year alone. Why?
That we're such bad drivers
Yes.
on Tennessee roads. I think we're just distracted nowadays. I think everyone wants to be on their phones. They have their phones up here while they're driving.
No question.
They're choosing their music, they're choosing their podcast, and they're just not focused on the road.
Always in a hurry.
They are always in a hurry,
Yes, sir.
and they're paying more and more attention to their devices rather than to the job at hand, which
Yes,
is
sir.
safely getting the vehicle from point A to point B.
Yes, sir.
You want to hazard a guess as to what the deadliest city in the country is for driving? Anywhere in the United States.
Atlanta, Georgia.
You're close. You're close. Memphis, Tennessee,
wow.
believe it or
Okay.
not.
Of course, in Tennessee.
Atlanta,
Right.
yeah, of course, in Tennessee. Atlanta ranks pretty high up there, and Mississippi, North Dakota, California, Florida, Nevada, and Oklahoma all have worse drivers than we do here. California, you might conceive because it's a lot
Sure.
more densely populated than what we have here. But thanks in part to what you guys at Warren and Griffin have done several years ago, Tennessee is a hands-free, device and hands-free state to drive in.
Yes,
How
sir.
have we seen that improve our driving situation overall?
Well, thank you, Chip. We do the Never Text and Drive Day, and
Right.
having people take a pledge to put their phones down when they're driving. And we've had thousands and thousands of people over our events pledge to never text and drive, and we do think that's making an impact on the roads.
I have seen hundreds, because I've been to a number of those no text and drive pledge events, and I've seen hundreds of people there at each and every one.
Yes, sir.
You think they're taking it to heart?
You know, even if everybody's not taking it to heart, I think the first step in fixing any problem is awareness. And I would venture to say that most people do take it to heart. You know, we don't make pledges lightly, and so I think a lot of people do take that to heart. But, you know, even if some of those people aren't taking it to heart, the first step is awareness. So awareness for the friends and the family of the people that are saying it, and the news coverage that always comes from those sorts of things. So it's just spreading the message of awareness that, hey, this isn't a little problem, it's a big problem and it's dangerous.
One of the new hobbies I have when my wife or someone else is driving, and I will pick 3 minutes just for a random time frame and make a little check about people who think they're being so obvious by not trying to be obvious while they're texting behind the wheel.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now, you could easily hand your phone to a passenger and get them to do it so you can concentrate on that job at hand, but
Right.
folks just seemingly aren't doing it. That, as we have mentioned, leads to more auto crashes, more serious crashes involving bodily injury and harm. And a lot of the folks who are the citable parties in this, to use a legal term, don't have insurance.
Yes, sir. And it's especially scary when you say that Tennessee is one of the worst 5 states in driving, and you pair that with we're one of the worst 5 states in having car insurance. As you drive on the road today, 1 in 5 drivers in Tennessee are uninsured. Think about that when you're driving, and how many cars you're passing, and how many of those drivers are uninsured. That's why my favorite type of insurance is uninsured insurance coverage and underinsured insurance coverage, because it's not only protecting you, your family, and your friends in your car, and anyone else in your car from uninsured drivers.
Why are we not required to have that here in Tennessee?
We should be, and some states do have that requirement. And in the state of Tennessee, when an insurance policy is sold, the insurance, the person who's selling it to you has to give you the option, but you can refuse it. And a lot of people do to save money. And I think part of that is they just don't fully understand what uninsured motorist is and what it protects from. And I think people also don't understand, like Hank said, that 1 in 5 drivers, 20 to 21% of Tennesseans are driving uninsured. And so if you're hit by one of those people, the only way to protect yourself and protect those in your vehicle is with uninsured motorists. So I think it comes from just a lack of understanding the dangers of driving without uninsured motorists, and just not knowing that many people in Tennessee, despite it being a requirement to have liability coverage, don't have liability coverage.
On your next visit here, we're going to talk more about what uninsured motorist covers, what it doesn't, and in the few seconds we have left, we'll tell you it's extremely inexpensive. It doesn't add much to your policy premium, yet more people are turning away from that. Seems like they're cutting a hole in their safety net intentionally. But
Yes,
anyway,
sir.
guys, we're up against the clock. Thatcher, good to see you.
Good to see you. Yes, sir.
Good to see
Thanks for
you as
having us.
always. Gentlemen, y'all come back anytime. You can get in touch with them right here at Warren and Griffin. The website, warrenandgriffin.com, warrenandgriffin.com. We are back with more of Let's Chat on the way after this.